Everyone thinks they already know who will play in the next World Cup final. The predictions are already everywhere. France, Argentina, Brazil, England, Portugal, Spain. The same names, the same conversations, the same expectations. But what if they're all wrong? What if the team that reaches the final isn't one of the obvious favorites? What if the next World Cup produces a finalist that almost nobody is talking about right now? A team with world-class players. A team with elite tactical discipline. A team that keeps getting stronger every year. And a team capable of beating absolutely anyone on its day. Today, we're talking about the nation that could shock the football world and reach the World Cup final when nobody expects it. And that team is the Netherlands. Now, before you click away and say, the Netherlands aren't really a surprise, hear me out, because this Dutch team might be the most underrated contender in world football. And by the end of this video, you might understand why they have a genuine chance to shock everyone. When football fans discuss World Cup favorites, the Netherlands are rarely mentioned first. Most conversations immediately focus on France. People talk about the incredible talent of Kylian Mbappé. Others point toward Argentina and the brilliance of Julian Alvarez, Enzo Fernandez, and their new generation. Brazil always enter tournaments with superstars like Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and Endrick. England have Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, and Phil Foden. Portugal have Rafael Leão, Bruno Fernandes, and a squad filled with talent. So where does that leave the Netherlands? Quietly in the shadows. And that's exactly why they're dangerous. Because while everyone focuses on the giants, the Dutch continue improving without attracting the same pressure. Sometimes being overlooked is the biggest advantage a team can have. Let's start with the squad itself. One of the biggest reasons the Netherlands could reach the final is balance. They don't rely on one superstar. They have quality throughout the entire team. At the back stands Virgil van Dijk. For years, Van Dijk has been one of the best defenders in world football. His leadership, experience, and composure make him the perfect foundation for a tournament team. Alongside him, players like Mickey van de Ven bring pace and athleticism. Few defenders in world football can recover as quickly as Van de Ven. That combination of experience and speed is incredibly valuable in knockout football. The Dutch defense is strong, but it gets even better. Because their midfield may be one of the most underrated in international football, every great tournament team has a player who controls everything. For the Netherlands, that's Frenkie de Jong. He's not always the loudest player. He doesn't score 30 goals a season. But his impact is enormous. When Frenkie receives the ball under pressure, he remains calm. When opponents try to press him, he escapes. When the team needs control, he provides it. The best midfielders don't just play football. They dictate football. And that's exactly what Frenkie does. Against weaker teams, he helps dominate possession. Against stronger teams, he helps the Netherlands survive pressure. His importance cannot be overstated. If Frenkie de Jong performs at his highest level, the Dutch become a completely different team. But every successful team also needs excitement. A player who can create something from nothing. A player who makes fans jump out of their seats. For the Netherlands, that player is Xavi Simons. Few young footballers have generated as much excitement in recent years. His confidence is remarkable. His dribbling is fearless. His creativity is unpredictable. And perhaps most importantly, he loves big moments. Defenders hate playing against players like Xavi Simons because they never know what's coming next. 1 second he's dribbling. The next he's creating a chance. The next he's shooting from distance. If the Netherlands are going to make a deep World Cup run, don't be surprised if Xavi Simons becomes one of the stars of the entire tournament. Every team needs goals. And that's where Cody Gakpo becomes incredibly important. We've already seen him shine on the international stage. When pressure increases, some players disappear. Gakpo often does the opposite. He becomes more dangerous. His movement is intelligent. His finishing is clinical. And he has shown repeatedly that he can perform in major tournaments. The Netherlands don't necessarily need a striker who scores 50 goals a year. They need someone who can deliver in crucial moments. And Gakpo has already proven he can do exactly that. One chance, one finish, one moment. That's often all it takes in a World Cup knockout match. Now let's talk about one of the most exciting players in the squad, Jeremie Frimpong. Few players in world football are faster. Few players are more dangerous in transition. And few players can completely change a game with one run. Imagine you're playing against the Netherlands. You've dominated possession. You've pushed your defenders higher up the pitch. Then suddenly the Dutch win the ball. Within seconds, Frimpong is sprinting into open space. That's terrifying for opponents. Modern football is increasingly decided by transitions, and Frimpong might be one of the best transition players in the world. His speed alone can change matches. The Netherlands know heartbreak better than most nations. 3 World Cup finals, 3 defeats. Generations of incredible players came close. The legendary Dutch teams of the past played beautiful football, but they never lifted the trophy. That history matters, because today's players understand the challenge ahead. They know talent alone isn't enough. They know football can be cruel, and that experience creates maturity. This Dutch team feels more disciplined than many previous generations, more patient, more focused, more united, and those qualities become incredibly important in tournament football. Football fans love goals. They love skills. They love highlight reels. But tournaments are usually won by defenses. Look at recent successful teams: France, Argentina, Croatia, Morocco, Italy. All of them were difficult to break down. The Netherlands fit that profile perfectly. With Virgil van Dijk organizing the back line and athletic defenders surrounding him, this team is built to survive difficult matches. Because eventually every contender faces adversity. Every contender concedes pressure. Every contender faces moments where everything could collapse. The teams that survive those moments reach finals. And the Dutch have the defensive structure to do exactly that. Perhaps the most exciting part of this Dutch project is that the future looks even brighter. The Netherlands continue producing elite talent. Every year, new players emerge. Every year, competition for places increases. Young stars are pushing experienced players. Experienced players are helping young stars develop. That's exactly what successful national teams need, because great squads aren't built around 11 players. They're built around 23 players, all fighting for positions. Competition creates excellence, and right now, Dutch football has plenty of competition. Let's compare them to the teams everyone expects to succeed. France have incredible talent, but enormous pressure. Every tournament begins with expectations of victory. Brazil possess world-class attackers, yet questions remain about consistency. England have one of the deepest squads in football, but history shows how difficult they find major tournament pressure. Portugal have outstanding players, yet balancing all those stars isn't always easy. Argentina remain dangerous. But repeating success is one of the hardest things in sports. Every favorite has weaknesses. Every favorite faces pressure. The Netherlands have something different: freedom. They have enough quality to beat anyone, but not enough expectation to carry the weight of being tournament favorites. That combination could be extremely dangerous. Every World Cup creates a superstar A player who enters the tournament with promise and leaves it as a global icon. Think about how quickly reputations can change. One great tournament can transform a career forever. For the Netherlands, that player could be Xavi Simons. He has the confidence, he has the talent, he has the personality, and he has the fearlessness required for the biggest stage. If Simons explodes during the World Cup, suddenly the Netherlands become a nightmare opponent, because elite defenses struggle against unpredictability. And Simons is one of the most unpredictable young players in football. Now imagine the scenario. The Netherlands survive the group stage. Confidence starts growing. Frenkie de Jong begins controlling games. Virgil van Dijk dominates defensively. Jeremie Frimpong terrorizes defenders with his speed. Cody Gakpo starts scoring important goals. And Xavi Simons becomes the breakout star of the tournament. Suddenly, they're in the quarterfinals. Then the semifinals. Then one moment changes everything. One goal, one save, one magical pass. That's all it takes. Because World Cups aren't won on paper. They're won on the pitch. And momentum can carry teams further than anyone expects. Conclusion. So when the next World Cup arrives and everyone is discussing France, Brazil, Argentina, England, Portugal, and Spain, don't ignore the Netherlands, a team led by Virgil van Dijk, a team controlled by Frenkie de Jong, a team inspired by Xavi Simons, a team powered by Jeremie Frimpong, and a team capable of producing goals through Cody Gakpo. Will they definitely reach the final? No, nobody can promise that. That's the beauty of football. But if one nation is capable of shocking the world, destroying predictions, and making an unforgettable run to the World Cup final, it might just be the Netherlands. And if that happens, don't say nobody saw it coming. Imagine this. World Cup semi-final. 90th minute. The score is level. Millions of fans are watching. Frenkie de Jong wins the ball in midfield. He finds Xavi Simons between the lines. Simons turns. One perfect pass. Cody Gakpo is through on goal. He shoots. The net explodes. The stadium erupts. And suddenly, the Netherlands are heading to the World Cup final. A dream today, a possibility tomorrow, and maybe the biggest shock in world football. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, which team do you think will shock the world and reach the World Cup final?